Alright, back for part 2 of clutch removal on Triumph Rocket 3. I'll start off now. We pull our 5 bolts off, so I've partly started already, but I wanted to leave a little bit so I can record and show you guys what's it all about. They're quite easy to crack. It's not too much pressure on the bolts. I best get all the torque and specs. Once I go to put this all back together, as I don't want to strip or stuff everything up or anything come loose. That's the last thing you want, is something to come loose, and that'll cause more damage than a strip bolt, that's for sure. Here we go. You saw the button come forward. Alright, so we'll get in close there. I'll show you how this looks like. It's a long bugger. Alright, that's one. Sorry about the shakes, guys. A camera in one end and ratchet in the other. Alrighty. Alright, well, we got a rough idea what to do there. I'll get this, all the remaining out, and then I'll get onto that pressure plate. Alright, got all 5 bolts and springs out. They made this, they really thought about this. They gave you ample amount of thread on the bolts there, so you're not trying to compress the spring to start the thread. You got at least 4 or 5 threads there to screw into, then to compress the spring before it touches the pressure plate. It makes it real easy. Now comes the good part. Pull on the button, and there we go. We've got everything coming out there. I better keep an eye on this, guys, because I don't want to lose anything. Okay, well, there you go. All right, so I've got one plate, one friction plate and one clutch plate. So I've got to make sure I remember the orientation of how to go, because I'll install a new clutch, but I'd still like to keep this clutch pack as it was, just in case the barnets doesn't work out. Alrighty, and I'll do a measurement on these two to actually give me an idea why she's slipping, because she hasn't done no Ks, and I've only boosted the horsepower a little bit. Hopefully it was just weak springs. Alright, I'll continue. Alright guys, this part's a little bit tricky. You sort of have to fish everything out. So I'm stacking them back on the pressure plate as I go, so I don't lose their orientation. There's a word for you. Okay. And just continue on doing that until you get them all out. I'll continue doing this with 2 hands because I don't want to lose in the puddle of oil underneath it, so I'll get back to you. Alright guys, so far I've got the clutch pack out. I'll count how many plates there are for you. This is one of the rings you've also got to look out for, but this one is a tricky one. If you can look to the, I don't know if you can see at the back there, if I can get the screwdriver in there too, this little bugger here, I think that's the judder ring there. That one's a bit of a tricky one to get out. That one you got to take your time with. I just wanted to show you roughly where its positioning is. Apologies for the video quality, it's sort of hard to, but yeah, that bugger there, we have to get that out. And that's all the plates out. The back ones you can get in pretty easy. You see those slots you can stick the screwdriver head. They're just to tap them and they're loose, and then you can stick your fingers in and sort of work them out evenly. There's heaps of spots to get in there and get around the basket to get all your plates out. But take your time, guys. It's a tricky one. Alrighty, get into it. We won. Finally got them all out. The back one's a little bit tricky, but not too bad. Not too bad. Alright, this is how it looks like when I finally pulled them out plate by plate. We got 19 plates all up. We got 10 fibres, 9 steel. Okay, and that's how they look like together. Then we've got the anti-judder spring washer and the anti-judder backing washer. Take a look at how it goes. So the inner edge goes against the backing washer. The outer edge goes against the, well, actually goes against the second steel plate from the back. Now if you forget the actual which way the backing washer went, there will be a shiny edge. It's only going to be a faint one that's going to be worn on the inside here. You can probably just see it in the light, and that's the edge that has been rubbing up against the inner edge of the anti-judder spring washer. Now just remember, it's backing washer, spring washer, and then back of the plates, and that's how it goes. These washers sit actually inside the last fibre and up against the inner steel. So nothing really to it. Now if you're reusing your original clutch, please remember the way you pulled it out is exactly the same way you put it back in. Each fibre and each steel plate has to be in its same location. Do your measurements, check your wear and all that sort of stuff, and if you're happy with it, just stick it back in as it was, as the back and the front wear differently to the middle. And if you've mixed them all up, you're gonna have dramas, fine, unless you've written down each measurement of each plate. Alright, I'm gonna start looking at that button there and see how it looks, and then wait. Well, I'm pretty much stuck now. I've got to wait for the clutch to arrive. Thank you guys, and I'll get back to you. Guys, we're back at the bike now. So this is a lifter piece here. That's pretty easy to slide it straight out of the basket. Now I'm looking at the button side of things. It's not bad actually. No signs of wear or tear. Nothing on the back there. I can see why these would break off. There is not even a taper or a step of some sort to strengthen that button. It's just a flat edge. Anyway, these must be made of stronger material now, because it works, which is the main thing. Now we've got a roller bearing, flange and thrust washer at the back. With a thrust washer it's easy to tell which one faces the basket end. It's the shiny side, the other side's got paint on it. And the roller bearing, if you've forgotten which way it goes, if you pulled it off the lifter piece, in between each roller there is a, if I can bring it closer, it'll zoom. Between each roller, no, it won't take it. Between each roller is an arch. The arch faces towards the clutch pack, and that's what the back of it looks like. Other than that, this is still pretty good, so I'll put it back in and locate it on. Nothing there to worry about really now. Everything else looks good. I'll wipe the oil off and get it ready for the new clutch to arrive. Hey everyone, just got back from the post office and picked up my clutch, which just arrived. So here's the bun. It's heavy duty clutch for the Rocket 3, mine being the 08 model. Now these are the goodies that you get, box. Now your fibres come separate, so you got fibres there and then steel plates underneath, all in the same bag, but they don't put them together ready to assemble. There's your heavy duty spring on the left. That's just the stock standard one on the right. Your springs come in a nice little bag like that, oiled. Barnett sticker, clutch tips. If you want to read that, you can pause that. And there's a guideline to follow as well, which is very important. This helps us when it comes to installation. And now to take a look at the clutch itself, the actual clutch friction plates. Now, in relation to that white bit of paper, just here, if you notice on one of these fibres, it's painted black in between the actual fibres on this one, last one here. Now, this is the first friction plate in. As you can see, it is narrower than the actual other friction plates behind it. Now, what's that for? It is to allow you to insert your anti-judder backing washer and anti-judder spring, so that sits internally. Okay, so if you remembered to pull your friction plates and leave them as they came out, you'll see that the back one was actually narrow as well. I didn't pick up on that. Now that I read the white paper and I took a look at the pack, that when I received it, I noticed it. So yeah, there's a bit of difference in between the fibres too. So they're nice and sort of longly casted in comparison to the short and multiple fibre groups. Anyway, so I'll be soaking these in oils for about 5 to 10 minutes, and I'll get ready to install. Now, there is a bit of a comparison, as you can see. So the heavy duty spring is slightly taller than the stock standard, and also width-wise on each coil, and it's definitely firmer when you try to compress them with your fingers, so you do notice it. But I'm definitely looking forward to having this baby put in. There you go. Back at it, everyone. Alright, now just following this green bit of paper here in the Barnett's clutch kit, I'm going to soak the friction plates in a bit of oil here. They say 5 to 10 minutes, so that should be enough. Now I'm going to do it in parts because I thought I had enough oil to do to fill up the tub, but no, I didn't. Also, just check your plates, all of them. Make sure there's it's free of debris and all that sort of stuff, because you don't really want to waste the oil in here. It's brand new, so as long as everything's clean, it goes in. The oil should still remain clean. You'll be able to use it when you do your when you go to do your service. All right, so there we go. Just going to soak it in. Now, what I'll do is I'll soak it in 2 parts. That's another half I'll do, and it's only the friction plates you have to soak. Remembering that that's your the one that's black between the fibres is the first one you put into the basket. All remaining friction plates are a bit of a gold colour in between the plates, in between the friction pads. Alrighty, I'll get back to it. Just to let you know, guys, I didn't spot the washer in there, but yeah, when you do pull your pressure plate off, just keep an eye on that washer. That's the one that goes on the front face of the roller bearing there. So yeah, just to let you know that should be there, either on the roller bearing itself, on the pull rod, or still inside your pressure plate, which mine was. So anyway, that's safely there. We'll make sure I'll put it back on the. I'll actually put it back on there now, just to remember which face. So that was the face that was sitting on the roller bearing. So there we go. Back to where it belongs. Alright, still waiting for the friction plates to soak up, so I'll put it on pause for a bit. Yeah, guys, while I'm killing time waiting for the friction plates to soak in the oil, I was going to do my new clutch cable. Like I said, while you got the bike down this far, if you are going to do the clutch cable, you don't have to, but I want to, so I'll just show you quickly how you do it. Removing this side cover, we've already got most of the bike out of the way, so all you really need to do is take the cover off. This is your clutch cable here. Now, for me, it's easier just to, since I've already got it off up here at the handpiece, I'll just work it down, and then from there work the new one in, and there we go. So just letting you know what's happening. Alright, I'll continue doing this.
Alright, so now we've got the cover all nice and loose. Clutch cable as I've undone it up the top. So there you go. Now we're just going to slide it out. And that's it. I'll keep this clutch cable as a spare just in case anything happens. So nice and easy. Pretty much as long as you run the new clutch cable back through the holder there and trail it down behind the headlights, it just comes down here, locates into the side cover, and then you just run it back down to its home where the bracket bolts up to these two. Alright, I'll keep recording. Alright guys, well, clutch pack is now soaked and I've stacked it in the way I'm going to install it. So there's your anti-judder backing washer, anti-judder spring, there's the black fibre, and then after that steel, and so we go in that order. So we'll start off with this one, following that shiny edge that you can just see where the oil line is. That's where the anti-judder washer sort of sits on, so we put that on. Then anti-judder spring. Now remember, the inside edge, if you can see there, goes that way towards the back of the basket, so the outer edge will press against the second steel plate behind the first fibre. So we'll put that in there. Okay, now we're just going to have a look at how it's all sitting. Let my camera zoom in a little bit if it can. There we go. Everything's nice and clean in there. So work that all the way to the back. Okay, now I'm just going to have a look at something and I'll get back to you. Alright guys, I just wanted to get you to have a look at something. Now that's the best angle I can sort of focus on, and in there you can see the first fibre, which is with the black paint between the friction pads, and just on the inside edge of it you'll see the judder spring washer. Now just have a good look around when you do put it in and make sure that sits in there nicely. It should have plenty of clearance, but yeah, do check that. Make sure that the backing washer is flush against the back of the basket, the judder spring is against the backing washer, and there's plenty of clearance between the fibre and or sort of an equal distance between the fibre and the judder spring washer. And there we go, that's the start of it. So I'm going to start putting the plates in. I want to see if I can get this camera in a bit of a better angle for you so you can watch me install them. But there you go guys, that's the start of it. Okay. Alright guys, well, we're finally at it. So now we've got the spring washer in, the first fibre with the black paint, and now I'm going to start the ball rolling with the rest of them. So finally I've got a tripod going, I can use both hands. I'll start with the first steel plate. And slowly. Alright, so there's one in. Have to push it nicely home. Okay. Next fibre. So far we've got fibre, plate, fibre, other plate. Sorry about the hands in the way, guys. Just the way I try to push them home. I'll just move my hands out of the way for you. Okay, compact it all in there nicely. You don't have to; it'll sort of fall in as you get it done. I'll just move my oil. Hope the coolant goes out of the way. Okay. I have a sneaking suspicion that this actual clutch pack is a little bit lighter. It's just coated with oil, and it feels lighter than the stock clutch pack, which I'll be interested to see how it feels. Hopefully, it won't be grabby as most lightweight clutches are. Good for revving. Not much on the torque side of things though. I think this engine's got enough torque to compensate though. Okay. That precision. Getting in there nicely. Hopefully you guys can see what's going on in there. I've got the springs and everything all nicely coated. Alright, we're getting nice and close now. The good thing about packing the clutch prior to you installing it is actually you can forget about what you're doing. You just pull the plate as you load the plates in as you pack them, and you can't go wrong. You can't sort of say to yourself, oh crap, did I put two frictions together or did I? Because I tend to have a memory of a fish. Getting there. Now remember, you start with a fibre, you have to finish with a fibre. If you've finished with a plate, a steel plate, pull it all out and check what you've done, because the fibre is the last one to touch the pressure plate. You're getting there, almost there. Oh, by the way, I've coated the steel plates, if I haven't said it before, coated them with oil as well, because I'm still waiting on a timing cover gasket. Hopefully that'll come soon, so I'll soak it all with oil to make sure that she's well lubricated and happy. Hopefully, this will help people get a bit of confidence in doing this sort of work themselves. I owe this all to a good mate of mine who's given me the time, and just nope. What am I doing? Yeah, sorry about that. He taught me everything and give me that confidence to sort of attack these jobs. And if it doesn't work out, well, seek the help of a professional. But hopefully this will help the backyard boys have a go and sort of give them something to refer to if they ever get stuck. Okay. We go down to our last steel plate. Beautiful. And our last friction plate. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. Hey baby, love it. Alright. Now, just for curiosity, I'm going to slip the pressure plate over it.
just to make sure I've done everything right. Okay, that looks good. Alright, take this off. What I wanted to make sure was the friction pad here will be in contact with this plate here. So that looks fairly good. As I show you, these teeth all here interlocked into the back of the basket, or interlocked into the center part of the clutch housing. So that's your drive there, and that is all nice and clean. That's good. So the roller bearing sits inside this section here. Oh, the washer's worked its way back onto the pressure plate. I'll install that back on there. And now I think we're ready to start bolting this baby back up. Make sure that's all happy and home. All plates are in, I haven't left anything behind. Excuse me for a second while I quickly check. Okay, all plates are in. Now, our heavy duty springs. They go as demonstrated. Now, just for your information, there is the coils. The coils are equal, so there is no top, no bottom, so they can be used either way. Alright, and the bolts holding the springs in. Now on the manual says they're torqued to 10 Newton meters. My torque wrench doesn't go that low, so I'll probably go down to 13.6 Newton meters, which is 7 point something foot-pounds of torque, I think. And oh, how good is that? See, the actual heavy duty springs are longer than stock, and as I said to you guys before, there's plenty of thread. Like, these guys really thought of this. Yeah, nothing more worse than trying to force against a spring and trying to find a thread without cross threading it and turning the screw at the same time. Like, there's plenty of thread here. You just go and, you know, slowly put everything together. And guys, that is how we do it. Now what I'll do is I'll nip this all up, and then I'll get recording when I go to torque it up. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Now we've got all the nuts so far tightened. Now I'm going to torque them up to, as I said, my torque wrench only goes to 13.6 Newton meters, so we'll torque them up to those specs. Another 3.6 Newton meters won't hurt it. So there we go. Now go on a cross pattern. Alright, now just go over them again to check. There we go. So that is the clutch pressure plate torqued up. Springs are taut. Everything's nice and tight in there. Everything feels good. That is how we do our clutch plate replacements. As soon as I get my timing cover gasket, I can put the timing cover gasket on and show you how to locate the shaft onto the pull rod there as you're reinstalling everything.
Anyway guys, thank you. Talk to you soon.